Have you ever felt overlooked or dismissed by someone who ignored your personal boundaries? Disrespect doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's barely noticeable, like a glance that says, "You don't matter." A quiet response or constant interruptions that make you stop trying to speak. As time passes, this kind of subtle dismissal can feel like it fades into the background, almost invisible. People often expect us to just go along with it, smiling and nodding. But inside, that quiet disregard slowly eats away at our self-respect. No one deserves to feel invisible or unimportant, no matter their age. In this video, we'll share 5 practical ways to stand up to disrespect. Whether it's from family, neighbours, or long-time acquaintances, these tips will help you safeguard your peace and rebuild your confidence, all without shouting, blaming, or losing control. Keep watching till the end, because you'll learn how to handle disrespect as it happens and how to cultivate a calm, confident aura that earns respect even before you speak. These aren't quick fixes, but lasting habits that empower you to carry yourself with dignity in any situation. If you've ever left a conversation feeling small, doubted your own worth after someone's harsh words, or tolerated bad behaviour just to keep the peace, this message is for you. You're not too sensitive, you're not imagining things, and you are definitely not powerless. Let's explore how to reclaim your strength, step by step. Number 1. A boundary that holds firm. One of the most important things you can do when someone doesn't respect you is to set a boundary and actually keep it. Not just once, not just when it's convenient, but every time. Because the truth is, people test limits. They might not even do it intentionally, but they notice what you allow. And if you allow something once, even if it made you uncomfortable, they'll assume it's fair game the next time. A firm boundary doesn't mean raising your voice. It doesn't mean giving a long explanation. It simply means saying something like, "I don't accept being spoken to that way," or "I need you to stop interrupting me when I'm talking." That's it. Then follow through. If they keep doing it, you step away, change the subject, or limit future conversations. You don't have to argue. You don't need their approval. You just need consistency. The mistake many people make, especially those of us who've been taught to be polite, especially as we get older, is to explain too much. We try to be nice, to soften the message, to make sure we don't hurt anyone's feelings. And in doing so, we end up giving them space to ignore what we just said. But the more you repeat a calm, consistent boundary, the more others are forced to acknowledge that you won't bend just to make them comfortable. That's when real respect starts to grow, not from fear, but from clarity. There's a woman I used to know named Carol. She's 74 years old, grandmother of 7, always the one cooking at family gatherings, sweetest soul you'd ever meet. But she had one line nobody crossed. She wouldn't allow sarcasm at the dinner table. Years ago, a few relatives made mocking jokes, thinking it was funny. Carol looked up, smiled, and said, "Not here." And it never happened again. She didn't yell, she didn't argue, she just set the tone, and by holding that line with quiet strength, she made her space one where everyone knew respect is expected here. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about showing them how to treat you. And when you do that with consistency, you stop waiting for respect. You start attracting it. Number 2, a calm response under pressure. When someone disrespects you, whether it's a cutting remark, a condescending tone, or just being brushed aside, your first instinct might be to react. Maybe you feel your heart race. Maybe your voice tightens. Maybe you feel that wave of frustration building in your chest. That's natural. You're human. But the most powerful thing you can do in that moment isn't to push back. It's to stay calm. Why? Because disrespect often thrives on reaction. People who talk down to others are often looking for one of two things: dominance or drama. If you snap, they win. If you overexplain, they dismiss. But if you stay steady, if you meet their heat with quiet control, you shift the entire dynamic. You keep your power. You show, without saying it, that you're not easily shaken. It doesn't mean you have to pretend it didn't hurt. It just means you breathe first. You pause. You take that half second to let the emotion rise and pass. And then you choose your response with intention, not out of anger, not out of fear, but from a place of strength. That strength isn't loud. It's not flashy. It's grounded. It might sound like, "I don't appreciate that comment," or simply, "That's not acceptable to me." Then silence. Let them sit with that. You don't have to fill the space. You don't have to convince them. You just have to own your presence. I knew a man named Leonard, 78. Quiet type, kind eyes. One day at his community meeting, a younger member tried to cut him off mid-sentence twice. Leonard didn't raise his voice. He didn't fight. He just stopped talking, looked the man in the eye, and said, "I'll continue when you're ready to listen." Then he waited, and slowly the room shifted. Leonard didn't demand respect. He embodied it. That's the power of calm. It doesn't mean you accept poor treatment. It means you don't let someone else's behavior pull you out of your center. And over time, people learn they can't control you by disrespecting you. You're rooted. You're steady. And that unnerves people who rely on chaos to stay in control. So next time someone tries to push your buttons, let them find none to press. That's real power. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3. A distance that speaks for itself. Sometimes the most respectful thing you can do for yourself isn't to say something. It's to step back. When someone repeatedly shows you that they don't respect you, no matter how many times you speak up or stay calm, your next move isn't to try harder. It's to pull away, not in anger, not in bitterness, but in quiet clarity. Because here's the truth many people miss. You don't have to keep offering your time, your presence, or your energy to someone who keeps taking it for granted. Just because you've known someone for years, just because they're family or a long-time friend, or someone in your social circle, that doesn't mean you owe them unlimited access to you. Respect is not something you beg for. It's something you require. And when it's not given, you adjust. That might mean shorter conversations, fewer visits, delayed replies, or even letting the relationship take a natural step back. You don't need to make a grand announcement. You just shift your energy. You give more time to the people who lift you up and less to the ones who pull you down. What's powerful about this is that it teaches people something without you needing to say a word. It says, "I noticed. I care about myself enough to step away, and I don't need to explain that to you." I once met a woman named Shirley, 69, who used to spend every holiday with her cousin's family. But every year she was met with subtle digs about her choices, her appearance, even how she raised her children. She always smiled through it, until one day she didn't. She told me, "I just stopped going. I didn't argue, I didn't explain, I made other plans." And that was the year I finally felt peace. Her absence spoke volumes. Later, some of those relatives reached out to argue, but to reconnect with more respect. Not everyone will change, but some will. And the ones who don't, they were never your people to begin with. Protecting your energy isn't rude, it's responsible. Especially as you grow older, your time becomes more precious, your peace becomes more valuable, and the people you choose to let close should reflect that. Not because you think you're better, but because you finally know your worth. Number 4. A statement that is brief and direct. When someone disrespects you, one of the biggest traps you can fall into is overexplaining. You start justifying your feelings, giving background, trying to make them understand why what they did wasn't okay. And while that may come from a good place, it often does the opposite of what you hope. It hands them control of the conversation. It gives them room to twist your words. And worst of all, it signals that you're asking for their permission to be respected. But the truth is, you don't need permission to be treated with dignity. You don't need to explain your value. You just need to make it known. And the best way to do that is with short, clear statements that leave no room for misinterpretation. I'm not okay with that. That doesn't work for me. Let's talk when we can both be respectful. These kinds of phrases are simple but powerful. They don't invite debate. They don't spiral into long discussions. They draw a line and make it clear you won't keep crossing it just to keep the peace. When you use short, direct responses, you keep the focus where it belongs, on the behaviour, not your worth. And you avoid the trap of defending yourself against someone who has no intention of listening. I knew a man named Harold, 82, who spent years trying to keep the peace in a difficult friendship. Every time the friend made a snide comment or crossed a line, Harold would respond with a long explanation, hoping to appeal to his decency. But nothing ever changed. One day, Harold simply said, "You're not talking to me that way anymore," and walked away. That friendship ended soon after, but Harold told me he felt more respected in that moment than he had in 20 years. It's not about being cold, it's about being clear. And when you speak with clarity, people learn that you're not someone who will argue about your own worth. You already know it, and you're not interested in convincing anyone else. When your words are short and steady, they echo louder than 1,000 explanations, and they send a message that's impossible to ignore. I value myself, and if you can't match that, you won't get more of me. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5. A circle that reflects your value. The people you surround yourself with have a quiet but powerful influence on how you see yourself and how others see you. When you're constantly around folks who interrupt you, dismiss your ideas, or treat your kindness like a weakness, that starts to sink into your bones. You begin to second-guess your voice. You shrink a little without even realizing it. But the opposite is also true. When you spend more time with people who respect you, who listen when you speak, who ask how you're doing and actually wait for the answer, you grow. You stand a little taller. You speak with more ease. Naturally, disrespect becomes much easier to recognize and much harder to tolerate. It doesn't take a massive overhaul. You don't need to cut everyone out or find an entirely new group of friends overnight. But you do need to pay attention. Who do you feel uplifted around? Who makes you feel seen, even in silence? Those are the people who show you what healthy connection feels like. And once you know what that feels like, it's harder to settle for less. I met a woman once named Teresa, 77, who told me she used to feel like she had to work for every bit of respect she got, from family, from friends, even from her church group, until she joined a local senior walking club. They didn't care what car I drove or what I used to do for work, she said. They just liked having me there. That one small circle changed everything. Suddenly, she had people who celebrated her just for being herself, and that made it easier to speak up in the spaces that didn't respect. Respect isn't something you chase, it's something you cultivate. First inside yourself, then around you. And once your inner and outer world match that standard, you stop attracting people who take you for granted. When others see you holding yourself with dignity and spending your time with those who do the same, it sends a powerful message without you saying a word. It says, I don't settle. I know my value, and I choose to be around people who recognize it too. The people in your life don't have to be perfect, but they should make you feel safe. And if they don't, you're allowed to choose better. You're allowed to build a circle that respects you because you've spent a lifetime earning that right. Final thoughts. By now, you've probably recognized a few patterns in your own life. Moments where you stayed quiet when you should have spoken up, or times when you gave someone chance after chance, hoping they'd finally treat you right. That's not weakness, that's hope. But at some point, hope has to turn into action, and that action starts with you. What stood out to you the most? Was it the power of staying calm under pressure? The strength of a boundary held without apology? Or maybe just the reminder that you're allowed to walk away from people who don't treat you with kindness? Each of these is more than a tactic. They're a declaration, a quiet way of saying, I matter, and I will no longer make myself small to fit into places where I'm not respected. And if you're thinking, I wish I'd known all this sooner, that's okay. The best time to speak up for yourself is now, not yesterday, not last year, but today. You're not too old to set a boundary. You're not too late to change your circle. You're right on time to stand taller, speak clearer, and stop explaining your worth to people who were never listening in the first place. Respect isn't something that's simply handed out. It's earned through steady consistency, clear boundaries, and the way you carry yourself, even when no one else is around to witness it. At Timeless Wisdom, we believe that every day you choose to stand firm in your calmness. Every time you speak with clarity, take a step back, instead of reacting or prioritize peace over chaos. You are silently teaching others how to honor and respect you. This powerful message doesn't need words. It's felt in your presence. Remember, perfection is not required, nor is loudness. What truly matters is believing you deserve more than mere crumbs of kindness and continuously acting in a way that reflects your true worth again and again. We're grateful you joined us today at Timeless Wisdom. Your voice is important to this community, so please take a moment to leave a comment below. Share one thing that stood out to you, or a way you plan to put today's message into action in your own life. Your insights inspire us deeply, and reading your reflections keeps our motivation alive to bring you even more meaningful content. If you found value in this video, please show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with others who might benefit. Your encouragement helps us continue our mission of informing and uplifting our viewers with content that matters. Thank you for being part of the Timeless Wisdom family. We look forward to welcoming you back in the next video.